Welcome to the Lab, which is presented by Champion Circle. Go to championscircleufm.com to support Michigan student athletes. I'm Isaiah Hole. I'm filling in for your Mackey Award-winning tight end, Jake Butt. Here with Mike Barrett, linebacker in his sixth year for the University of Michigan, and Rod Moore in his third year. You might remember both of them from being very pivotal in Michigan's 30-24 win over Ohio State. I'm going to start with just get right into it here. Both of you were right there in on that play. Rod Moore, you made that play. Mike, you were right there with him. Walk us through kind of how that went. Like, what were you seeing? Rod, we'll start with you. What were you seeing on that play from Kyle McCord and the way that you were able to kind of, in a way, bait him into that throw? And obviously Jalen made the big hit which helped a little bit, but walk us through that play a little bit. What were you seeing in that moment?
I mean, I'll start off probably the play before. They ran the same play, which was Washer. That's like double digs coming from the field. And when they got down there, they got in the same type of formation that we practiced all week. And I saw number 2 cross my face, and I peeked for a second to see if it was a dig coming back, and I seen by his release it was another dig. So I kind of stayed over 2, and then as soon as I seen McCord release the ball, I just broke over there, and the ball was short, like you said, because of Jalen getting the pressure. So I mean, I give a lot of credit to Jalen because having that ball short really helped me make the play.
And Mike, you were right there. You were right there celebrating with Rod immediately. I mean, you were right in that general vicinity as well. What were you seeing on that play, and how excited were you to kind of end the game in that way?
Yeah, I mean, we have been talking on the sideline, like somebody got a game, you know what I mean? Like it's coming down to us. Like it's always going to come down to us. The defense, that's kind of the pressure that we want. And I mean, just on that play, I remember just dropping back on my weak side hook. It wasn't really too much work over there. I started kind of peeking to the field, and I saw the digs coming too. And I thought I was going to be able to kind of sneak through and snatch me one myself. But yeah, I saw that Jalen got the hit, and I saw it come up short. And I mean, I didn't even see Rod kind of in the area until I saw the ball kind of coming down, and I saw him dive underneath it. And it kind of was kind of the same kind of interception as Q had, where that he didn't get against Penn State. So I kind of was did he really catch it? Did he get his elbows underneath? You know what I mean? That's kind of what I was thinking about just in that moment. But I had the best view, and I could tell that it was a catch, instantly. And I was, I knew that we had won the game. I knew that Rod kind of sealed it for us, and I was turned for real.
Now, there's been a lot of there's been tremendous content. I'm not gonna lie, I've been really eating up a lot of content myself on the social media, particularly coming from those who are ardent Buckeye fans. Have either of you seen as they try to figure out, was that actually an interception? Rod, they're circling your elbows and saying, "Look, the ball hit the ground." Have either of you seen any of those fun memes that Michigan fans are really taking advantage of at the moment?
Yeah, I seen them. I mean, I know I caught the ball because, when I caught it, my elbows were like this, and I felt the ball on the inside of my elbows and against my chest, and I knew I caught it. I knew I caught it since then. People keep trying to say it's the ball, it's my elbows. I know my elbows look like a football, but it's
might be a little ashy. It might have been a little ashy. They saw the white part on it.
Just to get some moisturizer, man. That's all they're trying to let you know right now. Overall, how big was this? I mean, Mike, you've been around for a while. Rod, you're newer to this rivalry as far as playing on the field, but you're from Ohio. We'll start with you, Mike. I mean, you've been around for since 2018. You experienced 2 losses to Ohio State. Now you're 3-2 against the Buckeyes. How big is this win? I mean, we always are talking about how important it is to beat the rival, but considering this is the Big Ten's about to expand, everything's going to change in conference, everything's going to change in the playoff. You're not going to be here for that, but this was considered to be like the last great version of the game. So how much does this particular win mean to you? Does it, especially considering the last 2 years, the last 2 wins were great, but a lot of people are saying this one might be the best one.
Yeah, right. I mean, like you said, I've been here for the highs and the lows of the rivalry. My first coming in, like just hearing from all the Ohio State fans, like you'll never beat Ohio your whole career in Michigan. Like just hearing that when I get here, and then just kind of taking those 2 L's when I first got here, and just kind of looking back on that and just kind of looking at us now, kind of just getting over that hump. And, just this being my last game in the big house, my last game against Ohio. I was 2-2 versus them, and this was kind of the hump for me to have a winning record over them. And, it was really important for me to, go out with a bang in the big house. And, what better way to do it against them, undefeated, biggest stage in the country, in the world at the moment, for real. So it was great.
Rod, you being from Clayton, Northmont, you're just an hour away. We talked about that on Sunday when we had a hour-long live. But you came in. Ohio State didn't recruit you. At least if anything, they half-heartedly recruited you. And you came into Ann Arbor and said, "Listen, I'm not going to lose to these guys." You've made good on that through 3 years. How big was this one for you personally in that light?
Oh, it was a big one, especially it being so-called a three-peat, and it being my third year beating them. Like you said, when I was coming out of high school, them not recruiting me, and I mean, like we said on the hour-long interview last week, when I committed to Ohio State, everyone told me I would never beat them when I was at Michigan, and I'm like, all right, like I'm not going to lose to them when I'm there, and I've lived up to it, and it just. I mean, it was so good, especially getting like guys like Mikey, and all those guys their last W at the big house. I mean, I told Mikey before the game, I got you. Like I got you before it's your last time. We got to get you it.
Mike, I feel like you got snubbed today in the Big Ten, all Big Ten selections. Should have been a first team by both. You did not. They put you down there. You still obviously got the mention and everything, but you weren't a first teamer. I look at your career and I'm kind of mesmerized because when you first committed to Michigan, it seemed like you were in this offensive weapon category. You coming out of Valdosta Lowndes as a quarterback, you come to Michigan, kind of don't really know where they're going to put you. First, it's like an offensive weapon, really quickly switch over to the defensive side. You're a safety, you're a Viper, now you're a linebacker. How does it feel when you kind of look back at your trajectory going from the point where you were a high school quarterback to this point now where you are at least an all Big Ten linebacker? Again, you should have been first team, but how does it feel when you look back? What has that roller coaster been like for you?
Yeah, it's been a journey, man. I mean, I kind of figured, I'd probably get changed, moved around as my career went on, either it be in college or in the pros. I kind of figured that, coaches would kind of move me around at different places. So that's kind of whenever I came here, they asked me like, yo, what position would you play? If you could start right now, what position would you play? And I'm just like, I'm just trying to get on the field. Like, that's kind of just always been my mentality. Like, I'm just trying to play, trying to go out there and make plays. It don't matter where I am. So kind of just looking back on it, from the QB days to, playing wide receiver and, just having that offensive mindset to just transforming myself into, just a all Big Ten linebacker now, It's crazy just to think how far I've come, both physically, mentally, just over the years. Just thinking back on it, just came a long way. Still got a long way to go.
How much? I kind of lost my train there for a second, but how much of having been on the offensive side, how much has that helped you playing on the defensive side? And have you ever lobbied the coaches to be like, hey, I have some offensive moves in there too. Why don't you create a little package for me? Get me to throw the ball, get me to run the ball, get me to catch a pass, something. Have you ever lobbied the coaches for anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, well, I kind of lost that. I got the opportunity my freshman year when I was kind of moving around. It kind of was throwing me all over the place. But I had messed my thumbs up my freshman year, like my right thumb. So I couldn't really throw it how I could for the moment. And I kind of lost that opportunity fast. Like it probably was like a week where I was like a wildcat quarterback. I probably couldn't throw it 5 yards at a time. So since then, it kind of just was just a little joke talk for real. But yeah, I feel like I still got that offensive side in me. Once you get it, I don't think it goes anywhere. So I feel like I could still do something with the ball in my hand if I needed to.
Rod, when you came in, obviously it was kind of a whirlwind for you to some degree. We talked about that last week for those who saw that, but you came in, kind of had to wait a little bit, but then you were kind of thrown to the wolves, so to speak. I mean, not really. You were prepared, but you came in and you got to start the last couple games of the season in 2021. You find yourself going from not playing to playing at Penn State, playing against Ohio State, playing in the Big Ten championship and the college football playoff. What was that like for you, and how did that moment prepare you for where you're at now?
So my freshman year, I honestly never had a thought that I would ever play my freshman year. And the coach even said, like when I first got there, they didn't think I was going to play my freshman year. I was like 169 pounds. But then, like as the season went on throughout camp, I started making plays and opening people's eyes. And then, like you know how it goes. Like at the beginning of the season, you play at the end of the games and all that. And I would say after the Michigan State loss, I got the call to come in, and they just told me like they need me this week. And we played Indiana, then we played Penn State, and like I got thrown out. That was my first game starting, and just going into a game like that as a freshman, I'm not gonna lie, like I was nervous. Like I was just like, I'm in this type of game. I never would have thought I would be starting against Penn State as a freshman, and just to be able to make plays in those type of games, and then it prepared me, especially it being a big game, and then going into the Ohio State game and the playoff game, like. I think it just gave me the experience, especially where we are now. Like these past 2 years, we keep going back to where we've been, and that's the playoffs. And those are like the biggest stages in college football. So I think it just gives me the experience and the knowledge to know what I need to do to just elevate my game each and every year we get back to this stage.
Now, for both of you, you're going into your third consecutive Big Ten championship game. Second time you're playing against Iowa. What how hard is it to kind of turn the page? I mean, you're known as a team, specifically defensively. It seems like you're all able to turn the page really quick from one game to the next. But it's a little bit of a different story, especially when it comes to the human element. When you have emotional wins, right? You had the emotional win against Penn State. You have the emotional win against Maryland, and then the most emotional win of all, getting a win against Ohio State, which is, you could go everyone would say, obviously, it's not how you feel in the building, but you could go 1-11, and if that one is Ohio State, it's even season is salvaged, right? It's that important of a game. So how do you turn the page? I know you all say one track mind and everything, but how easy or how difficult is it that when you're going to play in another big game to say like, okay, we need to move on from just all of the absolute highs of the high, all the joy that comes from Ohio State, and be able to turn the page to Iowa?
Yeah, I just feel like just all of us knowing our goals and really locking into it, like what our goals are. Like we kind of said at the beginning of the season, we all kind of said what our goals for the defense for the team were, to beat our rivals, go beat Ohio State at the end of the season, go win the conference, and then go win a national championship. And just kind of keep that one game at a time until we get there. And that's kind of what we've been doing just throughout the whole season, just taking everything 1 week at a time, one game at a time, and just treating every week the same. Just going about our preparation the same. Like Ohio State win, that's probably the biggest win. We got a lot of in-state guys here. That it means so much to a lot of people in the building, to a lot of people just in the city, in the state in general. And I mean, those emotions are always going to be there. They're always going to overflow. But at the end of the day, we all know what our goals are, end goals are for the season. We all know, guys like me, guys like Mikey, guys who came back, we know what our end goals are, the reason why we came back. And it's not just for, that Big Ten championship, because we've been there. We've done that 2 years in a row, back to back. We're trying to go get the big thing now. So just kind of keeping that in our minds, keeping that at center focus for real, what our end goals are for the season, and just kind of thriving through it, just knowing that we have to stay locked in, stay prepared for those next games, because we still have 3 more to play.
Rod, this is going to be a little bit different. I guess not different because we always in the media we always ask people about other players, right? But I'm going to ask you about someone who you're sharing a screen with right now. What kind of captain is Mike Barrett? Like, what? I know you also probably deal a lot with being in the defensive back room with Mikey Sainer still, but when you think about Mike Barrett having taken on the mantle as a team captain, how does he lead?
I mean, he's an old guy in the room, so I think he knows how to lead pretty well. But
He's older than me, I've heard.
but might be a great leader, man. Especially just being like the linebackers are I would say the leaders of the defense, and just him being the old guy and experienced everything. Especially at this university, he knows how to keep the culture around for the young guys. Like when I first got here, he wasn't one of those older guys that were like, you know how sometimes the older guys like turn their face away from the freshmen. Now it might be like he always took somebody under their wing. If you had a question, he explained it to you. But Mike B's always been that type of leader, and especially him being the captain this year, it's been great being under him and learning how to be a leader myself. Because I mean, coming in the secondary, I'm probably the most played in the most of the games. So just trying to learn how to be a leader from Mike B has been great.
Now, Mike, one of the theories that we have in the media, because when we get you and we talk to you, aside from I think the last time that we spoke to you in a weekly press conference thing, that was probably the only time that we kind of got some of the jokey version of Michael Barrett. But when we talk amongst ourselves in the media, we're always like, you know what? I think Mike Barrett's hilarious. We just don't necessarily get to see that much. Yeah, we got to see a little bit of it in the hotel last year when you were in the college football playoff selection with when you guys were on camera and everything like that. So whether it's for you or for Rod, whoever wants to answer this, how funny is Mike Barrett, and who's the funniest guy on that defense?
Might be funny. No, I can't cuss. Might be funny as heck. Might be funny as heck. But who funniest guy on the defense?
We got some characters on the team, man.
I say
On the defense or
bro.
I mean, you can go whole team. I mean, I was just gonna try to make it easier for you to say just the defense, but if you want to go whole team, you can go whole team.
Defense, I gotta say Ernie might be.
Ernie, I was gonna say Ernie or Germ.
Germ, yeah, Germ.
I wouldn't have guessed Ernie.
Ernest Hausman, man. I'm telling you, you will never know until you get to know him. Hilarious.
Ernest is funny.
One of the top 3 on the team for sure, easily.
Yeah, I would say him and Germ. Even the whole team, him and Germ.
Yeah.
How do you again for either of you, and we'll just kind of keep it at that there. But I know, Rod, we talked last week, and you said like you like cars, and I suggested why don't you go talk to Keyshawn Bennett. But like, what are the types of things that you're into outside of football? Like when you're trying to turn your brain off, or you've got some extra time, and you're like, it's bye week, it's a Thursday, I'm gonna do something. What is that thing that you're gonna go do?
I'll probably go get on the game. I'll probably play Call of Duty or No, I don't need to play Madden. I'll say Call of Duty or Fortnite. Yeah.
Now, Rod, you're a Fortnite guy, right?
Yeah. I was a Fortnite guy when when it first started coming out, then they started doing all that extra stuff, and then they just put the OG version back. Me and Mike B was just on it last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. I'm finna might hop on later.
I might get on too then.
Yeah, no, same. I mean, like honestly, whenever I'm out of football, I kind of just try to relax. I'm either like on the game, just kind of watching like a TV series, just kind of laid around sleep for real for the most part. Other than either on the game, watching TV, or just laying around being lazy when I can.
I feel that. Especially after the Ohio State game, laziness has been my MO personally.
Just all that mentally jammed up, all going up to that game. Just having that monkey off my back now, man. It's just been like, now we just gotta go get it, man. Go get that big one.
I mentioned the meme thing earlier, how and just like kind of consuming content. How much do you guys see? I know there's always this talk of like, we don't really pay attention to the outside noise, but after you win a game against a team like Ohio State, especially with all of the, there's still a lot of doubters, even though you'd won 2 years in a row quite convincingly. Do you go and take a little bit of a peek at social media and what people are saying, or do you just kind of move on from that?
I ain't gonna lie, I'm all on there, man. Especially since after this game, I'm on there just looking at everybody. What you got to say now, man? That's what I want to see, man. I want to see what kind of excuses they want to give, what kind of, give it to me now, man. What you got to say? I want to see it all. Make yourself look dumb. Go ahead. I want it all, man. So I've been on there heavy. I know my dad's. He's been giving everybody a run for their money on there, man. I get about it every week. That my dad's is a menace on that Twitter, man. But yeah, I'll be seeing what he retweets or what he comments under, and I kind of peek under there. So.
It seems like they're going through the 5 stages, right? Like a lot of them are still stuck and then trying to kind of negotiate why they didn't really lose the game. Rod, when did you see that stuff too?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it in like even my comments. People are arguing about like who won the game and who's won in the past. It's just like, bro, at the end of the day, we won just now. But it's funny. It's funny to see, man, especially on Twitter. Twitter, people go to war on Twitter, bro.
And like they be like, wrong, loud and wrong, like, and just be
completely wrong.
Opinion though. It's funny because it's like everybody has their opinion, but like some of their opinions are just so wrong, and it's just so funny just watching some of them be so wrong. Like, but it is what it is. Like,
do you have a favorite meme or super wrong opinion that you've seen coming out of the game?
Let me think. It's funny. I had just saw the Raw one like probably like 30 minutes before this, and I was looking through the little thread, so it's funny that you brought that up.
Now, Rod, we talked about this off air, right? But did you catch the ball, or was that a football, or were those elbows?
It was my elbows. I caught the ball. Like, I know I caught the ball, and I got so scared they was going to turn it over because I'm like, bro, like, I know I caught it. The ball was up here, and my elbows are back here on the ground. So I know I caught the ball.
I mean, we've seen multiple angles. It's pretty clear that you caught the ball, and it's funny. You see people sending the videos to those people and saying like, "Watch the video," and they're still just.
I even screen recorded the back angle and like just slowly looked at it, and I'm like, "Bro, that's my elbow."
No, I can co-sign, man. I had the best view in the house. So I can co-sign on that. Definitely a catch.
Now, both of you have played in 2 Big Ten championship games. What's your favorite part about going to Indianapolis?
Ooh. I want to say the stadium.
I was just about to say that, like the atmosphere.
Stadium, being able to just be in that environment, that pro stadium, the lights, just like a big locker room. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of one of the best parts of kind of the Big Ten championship. Just that vibe of the stadium for real.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. The atmosphere too, because it's like I would say it's not really a home game, but it is, especially when we're on defense. Like you got half and half, but I mean, this year I know both sides travel well, so I think it's gonna be rocking for sure.
Yeah, it's the best. It's like the best of both worlds, a home and away game for real. Yeah. But in a great stadium.
What do you do in the lead up to the game? So you've got all day, right? Like it's not even a 7:30 kick like you would have during the regular season. It's a not 8 o'clock kick, right? You have to wait all day. There's only a couple games you can watch if you want to watch them. You're just kind of in a hotel downtown. What do you do with yourself or what will you do, when you're kind of waiting in the lead up once you arrive Friday late afternoon? And are there any festivities that you guys get to partake in that we don't know about, or you just kind of hang out in your room, watch other games? What do you do?
I think we go Friday. Don't we be going to the stadium?
Yeah, when we get there, I know we go to the stadium. We go check it out.
Yeah,
walk around, and we do something there.
We do walk like
walk through at the stadium on Fridays. And I mean, just kind of leading up into the game, like we were all just kind of like we'll do like our hydration and movement and things like that together as a team. But then during our off times, we're just kind of relaxing, watching football.
I'm taking a nap.
Yeah, sleep, eating, kind of getting our bodies ready, things like that.
Now, what was I going to ask? Okay, I remember. You both have had some really big moments in your careers so far at Michigan. When I look at you, Mike, obviously, like you had the 2 interception game against Rutgers last year. Rod, you had obviously the interception on Saturday. You had an interception that was key against Michigan State last year. Out of everything that you've done, what's your favorite moment that you've had in your Michigan career?
Yeah, I have to think on that one for a second, man. You know, I got a longer, you know what I mean.
I if you take out this one, I mean, I'm obviously going to say this one, but if you take out this one, I would have to say it's a race between going to Ohio State last year because like I was going home and beating them there, or like you said, getting another sealing the game interception versus Michigan State.
Well, with me, it would either have to be the 2 interception game against Rutgers or 2021 Ohio. And I mean, that one's kind of way up there for me, for real, because that was the turning point. That was like, a movie, honestly. Like, the snow falling, like it was picture perfect, honestly, for that kind of game. And I feel like that moment, like just kind of seeing all the coaches and all the players who, had never beaten them or had never damn near seen a win against them, and just kind of being there for that moment, man, and watching everybody rush the field and seeing the snowfall. It was picture perfect, for real. So that's kind of up there for me.
I had to say that too, especially like a year ago, you or even not even a year ago, just watching football and you see people storming the field, and then you're in the middle of the people storming the field for the first time in your life. It's just like it's surreal. It was actually like crazy, man.
I think it was even felt. I mean, I wasn't on the field for the 2021 game. I was up in the press box for that one. I was down there for this one, and it was crazy. I'm assuming it took a while for you guys to kind of navigate through that, right? Because I mean, it took me a good half hour to get out of there, get into the tunnel.
Yeah. After that game, I turned to the family section. I was looking for my mom and my dad, and then I jumped up in the stands. And then, bro, just people were just walking past me trying to get a picture and everything. But, like, going back through the locker room, I was just pushing through. Like, you got to push your way through at that point.
Yeah, same. I had turned and found my family. We sat there, kind of hugged for a second, got some pictures. And once I turned back around, like, the entire field was just flooded with fans. Everybody just running all over the place. And I'm like, now we got to make our way back side of the field, so let's go ahead and do it. So at that point, like, I just excuse me, just bumping through. It probably took me a good probably 25-30 minutes, because as soon as I got in the middle of the field, I think they played Pump It Up, and like, that kind of started everybody bumping take pictures and everything. So that added another extra like 5-10 minutes to the walk. But it
was a party.
Can't complain. Big party in the big house, man. So can't complain.
Now, obviously, both of you are hoping that it goes much further beyond that. You've got this game coming up. You'll have at least one more game after that. Last year, I remember just it. There was some talk kind of after the TCU game of some kind of overconfidence, right? Just kind of like, oh, we'll be able to go in there and beat them and go to the national championship game. You weren't the only ones. I was super overconfident. I remember talking to Garrett Riley, the offensive coordinator, and he was just looking at me like, you jerk, right? Because you could tell that I was just kind of like, oh, how's it feel to be the consolation prize against Michigan right now? And he was just looking at me like, why are you giving us no credit? But with that in mind, how much has the experience that you've had in the last 2 years of going to the college football playoff semifinal and not getting to that next step, right? Because there was all the talk coming out of the Georgia game of like, hey, we were just happy to be there, but also we have to obviously recognize Georgia was absolutely incredible than they have been the last 2 years. TCU had a really good game plan, and they were very confident. How do you guard against that this year in order to be able to reach those goals that you've set for yourself?
Yeah, yeah. No, I was just gonna say, consistency, man. Just being consistent. I've been trying to beat that in kind of everybody's head, man. Just kind of not having that drop off. Like, yeah, like I said, we beat Ohio, and that's great. You know, that was a great accomplishment. That's one of our goals. But you know, just being consistent with our game plan and with our preparation, with just kind of everything that we do, being consistent, just knowing like, you know, we're not there yet. Like, you know, we have way bigger goals that we're trying to accomplish, and in order to accomplish those, like, we can't just get the big head. We can't think like, oh, we've made it now that we beat Oak State and we won the conference. Like, you know, we know that, you know, we want to go be the best team in the country. We want to go show that we're the best team in the country, and we got to prepare day in and day out like the best team in the country. And, you know, in order for that to be fulfilled. So just kind of staying consistent throughout the week, and, you know, just taking that into the playoffs whenever we get there.
Yeah, Mike B said it all. Just being consistent and just being great at the small things, because sometimes the small things can kill you and you don't really realize it. And then especially like when we get there, when we get to the playoffs, just taking advantage of the opportunity. Like, I think we just let it slip away both these past 2 years, especially last year. I mean, that game was a heck of a game, especially how we fought back and everything, and felt like we left everything out there. But I mean, I think we just got to take advantage of the opportunity and being there this year.
So what you're telling me is that I should also prepare like you, not take it for granted. And if I get a one-on-one with the opposition's offensive coordinator, maybe don't go in overconfident myself, is what you're telling me. So
yeah, maybe just
going confident, but not overly confident.
All right, that's good advice. And spoken like a team captain and someone who is a leader on the team, and both of you. Last thing for either of you, and then we'll sign off. What's what is your message to Michigan fans, if you have one, especially those who are going to this game, that going to Indianapolis, that want to come and support you? What is your message to those people?
Be loud and come ready to party.
Don't turn us up, man. Turn us up, we'll turn y'all up. That's kind of how it is, man. Bring the party to Lucas Oil. You know what I mean? And let's do it, man. Let's go get another ring.
Well, it was excellent to talk to both of you. Very excited to see what you guys do in Indianapolis. I'll be seeing both of you there. Hopefully, a lot of you who are watching this will also make the trek to Lucas Oil Stadium to see Michigan take on the number 16 Iowa Hawkeyes, the second time facing Iowa in the Big Ten championship game. I'm Isaiah Hole. That's Mike Barrett. That's Rod Moore. Leaders of your defense, big-time players. Thanks for watching. And this, remember, again, go to www.championscircleufm.com to support the student athletes. This was presented by the L.A.B. Champion Circle. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace.